Hi everyone, Gemma here, thanks for watching today. So this video is following on from my flower forming foam video where I'm going to be creating a wedding card. So the products I'm using in today's video is the Creative Craft Products All Occasion DL Background Diamond Die Set. I really like this background die set. I think you've seen me use it before, or you've seen it in inspiration that I've shared. And this is quite a versatile die. I'm going to show you several ways how to use this. For the leaves, I've used some of Apple Blossom Flower Forming Foam Peony die set. I've also taken some leaves from the Simply Made Crafts Flower Leaves and Die set. I've got some square nestable dies. These are creative stitch ones. And then lastly, the main inspiration for the wedding card is the circular box and card builder from Card Making Magic. And I've used this edge die here and these circular dies there. So I really like the sort of the filigree ornate sort of pieces. So I've built my card around those. So as normal, I've prepared my pieces off camera and we're going to be making an 8x8 card today. So this is a shop bought 8x8, so it comes in 7 7/8 squared. I've cut an additional piece of cardstock that measures 7.5 squared. On top of that, I'm going to attach my DL pieces, something like so. I've then cut a frame that will go around the outside here to cover up those edges, and I've got a strip that will go in the center there. Then using those edge dies, I've cut 4 1-inch strips and I've cut the frame into that. And what I'm going to do is measure it up against the frame here, cut away sort of the edges. Show you better with this piece now. So I'm going to attach this on the back like so, and I'll probably trim away the edges on that end and that end there, and I'll attach it all the way around so you'll be seamless then with the frame. So I'm just going to start to go ahead and do that now. So I've got these DL panels, and what I've done is kept the inner pieces and created an additional 2 panels, and I'm going to make extra cards out of those. So I'll be sharing those in those cards and the inspiration for that in a later video. So I'm just going to use some quick grab glue, attach this on the back here, and then I'll come back to you for the next step. So there's my 2 DL panels attached to the white panel that I've cut. So I'm going to trim this down now. I'm going to use my guillotine, but I'd suggest if you don't have a guillotine, cut it by hand, turn it over, use your scissors and cut it from behind. A trimmer, you might tear it. So yeah, just be careful because it is quite sort of fragile, this panel. So I'm just going to use my guillotine, as I said. I've got 2 pieces of cardstock there and it's not liking it. So I'm going to revert back to my scissors and just trim from behind so you're following a straight edge. So as I said, it can be quite fragile, so a bit is come up that wasn't attached. This section here where it's overlapping, that's going to be covered up, so don't worry about that too much. And then any raw edges will be covered up with the frame that I've cut. So first of all, I'm going to take my strips now and get ready to attach those. I'm going to do this first because I don't want to get any sticky residue or glue prints on this silver frame, so I'll stick that down last. And looking at the sides of the panel, I don't know if you can see that because it's white on white, but if you measure up, the rounded edge here meets the edge there, and the same on the opposite side. So I'm just going to follow the curve on this and sort of cut it at an angle. Going to do the same then for this side. And that's going to attach nicely on there like so. So I've trimmed all the panels down, and I just wanted to show you where I was attaching it. So if you look on here where I've cut it, it's got sort of an embossed edge. I'm just lining that up with the edge of the card, and it's also given me a guideline of my glue placement. So I'm going to do the same for the other 3 remaining sides. So there's all the 4 pieces attached. So I've cut a 3/4 inch strip that will cover up this piece here. And I've also cut some more strips with this pattern that will sit behind here. So I'll attach those either side like so, and then that will sit there. What you could do before you place the frame on here, you could add some ribbon and cover this up. So I'm just going to take a pencil and I'm going to mark where the edge is and trim that down. And then I'm going to attach these pieces on the back of it to create this frame like so. So you could also add a ribbon to this piece to cover up that join there. But I think it looks fine. So next I'm going to attach my silver frame on there to cover up those edges, and then that will slot on there and it looks like a whole panel then. There's a silver frame now attached. I'm going to curl up the edges here, just using my finger and thumb. You can use a bone folder if you wish. I think this will be sufficient. And I'm going to attach this to my card base now with some foam pads. So again, you could attach it this way and you could have a center panel. You could even offset it here and have it more to the left hand side or right hand side. I've got mine in the center there. So there's that piece now attached. You could add this onto some foam and attach this. I'm debating on what to do. I think I'll leave that for a moment until I make a decision as to whether to attach foam, because I've got other pieces to go on top of here, so it might be nice just to place that flat, and I'll bring in the other pieces that I'm going to be attaching. So I've got this larger circle to go there, then the smaller one to go in the center there, and another circle and a personalized message then to go on the front like so. So yes, I think that'll be nice flat, and then I'm going to add some dimension then with the layers. So this card has got a lot of dimension, or it will have a lot of dimension once I've finished. So I am going to create a box envelope as well in this video. Just placing that down there like so. And I completely did the opposite of what I said I was going to do. Place it down flat, and I've added foam to it. Anyway, never mind. Oh, silly me. Maybe I'll do that one flat and then the rest will go up onto some foam. So I'm going to attach this circle piece using some tape adhesive here. You can use double-sided tape if you wish. This is just a lot faster for me. So just lining that up. So I haven't put any on the outside, so I want to do the same again and just sort of curl those edges up a little bit just to add some dimension. So with this, to achieve the same level, I need to add a foam pad either side here. Just check that that's okay, which it is. And then I'm just going to add some glue in the center. I'm going to use tape runner again for this piece. So I'm going to attach this next layer now with some foam again. As I said, it will have lots of dimension. So same process again, some more dry adhesive because we're using glitter cardstock. You can use liquid glue, but over time it tends to peel off, and it also takes longer to adhere. So some more foam to attach that circular piece. Now that in itself I think is a beautiful card. You could also add some pearls into these circles here. I like the fact that it sort of gives that quilted look. But I'm going to add some colour now with some flowers. So I've made these flowers out of flower forming foam. As I said, there's a separate video on how to make those. So just need to decide on the composition. Sometimes I go for 2 and 1, like so. 3 together in any sort of orientation, but I think I'm going to go bottom left to think then. So I've prepared the flowers as I said, and I've also cut a selection of foliage. So let me just show you those. So I've got these in white, these in a sage green, these in silver, and then these in vellum. Vellum is always a great way of adding additional dimension, texture, but not adding more colour. So I think I'm going to pop you on high speed now. I'm going to use my hot glue gun, attach the flowers, and then I like to go in with the leaves after that. So there's the final card. I've gone ahead and I've attached the flowers and all the foliage. Really like all the dimension with it, the different colours and the different texture of cardstock. I think it looks beautiful. I think the flowers, with just that hint of pink, really pops against the white, and the sage leaves then just add that additional bit of colour. So I'm going to set this to one side and we're going to work on the box envelope. So for the base you need a piece of 11 1/4 squid, and we're going to score at 1.5 inches on all 4 sides. So just rotate your cardstock and score at 1.5. Then for the lid we need a piece that's slightly larger, so we have 11 3/8 of an inch by 11 3/8, and again we're going to score at 1.5. So we're going to work on the base first. I've just gone for a single-sided box, the reason being I would need quite a large piece of cardstock if I wanted to do some reinforced sides, but I think the single sides will be fine. I'm using a 300 GSM white cardstock. Obviously you can adjust the measurements if you're doing a smaller card, and you can incorporate those reinforced sides if you wish. Anyway, back to the box. So we're just going to fold and burnish along the score lines like so, and then we're just going to grab the scissors to do some trimming. So being as neat as possible, I'm starting on the right hand side and cutting up the first score line to the first score line there, and then working my way across to the opposite side, to the left hand side, and cutting up to that first score line there. So we're just freeing those pieces up. You want to take a slight wedge off those so we don't have any overlap. So take a wedge off both sides like so, and then rotate and do the exact same on the opposite side. So you're then left with a piece like this, and all we're going to do is add some glue to these tabs, bring the sides together and square off that base. So a very simple construction for the bottom. So I'm going to use quick grab glue for this. You could also strengthen the piece by adding pattern paper or additional layers of cardstock. It's entirely up to you. But for me, because this is a wedding card, I'm going to leave it plain on the sides. We are going to have some decoration on the front. I'm going to add a ribbon as well, so that will add further decoration. So all I've done is add quick grab glue along this tab here. Bring up the side and just square off that corner there. And you just do that for all 4 sides. So I'm going to set that to one side and let that dry, and we'll work on the lid. So for my lid I want to add the silver frame, and this is the exact same size as the frame I've cut for the card. So all I've done is place this by eye in the centre of the lid. So I've got the 1.5 inch score line around all 4 sides. I'm concentrating on this centre square here, and I've just placed it down, and as I said, I've drawn around it. Now this isn't going to fit in our die cutting machine, so that's why I've done it that way. Obviously if you've got a smaller box, you can place your die and run it through. So I've drawn that as a guide, and I'm going to cut this away with my ruler and craft knife. If you don't have that, or you're not confident using it, you can poke your scissors through like so, and then cut up to all 4 corners, and then cut a straight line across there. But for ease, I'm doing it this way. You could use your trimmer as well. You just use whatever method you're comfortable with. So I'm going to start with one edge, and I'm going to place my ruler down. I'm going to do it slightly larger than the line to make sure that if we've got a rough edge, then the frame will cover it. So I'm just going to use about a 1/16 of an inch guide. I'm putting a lot of pressure on my ruler there, and I'm holding the knife right up against the ruler and cutting along that edge. And I'm just going to do the same then for the 3 remaining sides. So there's my square cut away. I'm just going to place the frame to make sure all 4 edges are covered by this before I do anything further. That's great. So while I have a flat surface, before I do any folding and burnishing on the score lines, I want to continue working on this piece. So I've cut myself a piece of acetate, and it measures just under 8 1/4 squared, and this is going to sit inside this square here. So the reason I've cut it larger than the square is just to help strengthen this piece, because we have cut away quite a lot of this center panel. So I thought with the additional piece of acetate there, it will help strengthen and reinforce that. So I've added red liner tape along all 4 sides. I'm just going to burnish that down to make sure there's no air bubbles, and remove that, remove the backing from it. I think I'll just do one side and fold a little bit over the top and bottom, like so, for placement purposes. And then once everything's lined up, I'll remove the rest of the backing. So I flipped my piece over. I'm allowing the acetate with the red tape, the backing still attached, and I'm going to place that within the score lines. Once I'm happy with that placement, I'm going to add some pressure to the sides where the backing is removed. Oh. Didn't mean to press that down then. So I need to remove this backing. That's okay. It's fallen nice and flat. So the acetate is now attached, and as I said, it strengthens that front panel. I'm going to now attach my silver frame. I'm just going to use some quick grab glue for that. And my last step before I complete the lid, I'm just going to take a circle punch, and I'm just going to punch some finger pulls here on the side. So now that's done, we'll fold and burnish along the score lines. So trimming up these tabs, removing a slight wedge. So do that for all 4 corners. And then add your quick grab glue to the tabs. Pull both sides up and square off that edge. So same then for the 3 remaining corners. So the card fits nicely inside there, and then the lid over the top, so that doesn't move around. And I've prepared a topper. So I've added the bride and groom's name on the front there, and I'm going to line that up exactly where the one on the card is, so that covers that up. But then you can see the rest of the decoration inside the box. So just grab myself some grey ribbon. So I'm going to take the ribbon and sort of have an equal amount each side, and you want to place the front bit over the corner here, and then wrap it to this side and do the same for this one. And then you tie that in place there. So there's the finished project. I'm so pleased with how it's turned out. I really hope the recipient likes it as much as I've enjoyed making it. This card would be great for anniversaries, those special milestone birthdays, invitations for weddings, any occasion really, if you just want that special or extra special card. So let me know what you think in the comments below. As I said, keep an eye out for the videos coming soon where I'm using the scrap pieces from the background die to create some further cards. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, you might want to hit the like button, leave a comment, or consider subscribing to the channel. If you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future tutorials. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!